All right, what's good, boys, and the one female watching. This is going to be your setup of the day video. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I set up my pre-market plan for today, and then I'm going to show you the best trade you could have taken today. At least for the New York Open AM session, you guys should know by now that's all I trade. So let's just get right into it. Let me pull up my pre-market plan for you guys real quick. I go to my Discord where I drop my plan every single day. This is what my plan was today. So on the higher time frame, we had a lower high and a lower low. I wanted to look for short opportunities. We had FOMC later today at 2 p.m. So I was really not expecting the AM to be anything but choppy, to be completely honest with you. On top of this, I had no good levels for me to play long off of other than this 98 to 90 level that actually got tapped into like 3 or 4 times now. So I was even a little bit hesitant to even get long off that if there was an opportunity to do so. So really, to put it simply, I'm looking for shorts today. And the main place I wanted to look for short, I actually don't even have it marked out very well on this chart because I marked it out right after making this plan. But area of low volume, if I pull up the RTH profiles, these are daily sessions, and this is a 30-minute candlestick chart. There's an area of low volume right here. And I think that overnight we actually kind of filled this in. So that's why I gave it from like 418. I think this actually ends up being 19. So roughly 419. And then I was giving it all the way up to 33. And the reason for that was because yesterday's session, if I go back, this is where the selling began. The selling really kicked in yesterday, right around this 33 area. I would say you could argue that it might have started even up a little earlier, but just by looking at all this delta right here, this is right at 34. You had that sweep of the book from yesterday. And then this is where more buyers started getting trapped a little bit. Nothing crazy. But this is really where the move started from yesterday, where we had that 30-point sell-off right from the 32s, 33s. So I was looking to get short today in this area. Let me just get out of here. So I was looking to get short today in this area, which is from 420 all the way up to 433. I'm kind of blocking it a little bit, but you guys get the picture, right? I'm looking for shorts today. This is the only place I can find to get short. For me to develop a long thesis, there was really no levels for me to play off of. We pretty much did nothing overnight. So the only level I had was used like 3 times. Like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. You know, it was used a lot. So this 98 to 90 level, I was even more hesitant to get long off of. My first plan today, my ideal plan was to get short in this 420 to 433. Clearly, you guys can see that actually worked out perfectly. I did not catch this trade. And there is a reason why I didn't catch this trade. And it's nothing other than the fact that I walked away today thinking that, we opened up, we were moving very slow in this range right here. It was like a 6-point range, 7-point range on ES. And, we have FOMC at 2 p.m. for me. Maybe it's 1 p.m., I forget, but we have FOMC later. And I know that the market a lot of the times will like to wait for that instead of any crazy moves happening. So yeah, I will get into the confirmation for this setup because the confirmation was 100% there. So I'll get into that in a second. But one thing I want to talk about briefly is the fact, and let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, but I do not believe that you should just completely avoid a session because of a news event. Like today, there's FOMC. I know there was a ton of traders that were just like, I'm not trading today. We have FOMC later. And I understand where they're coming from. Because one, most of the time the market's not going to do shit. Two, it's not like you need to trade every day. So I'm definitely in agreement on that. And I'm also on agreement on the first point. But the thing is, sometimes opportunities present themselves whenever there's news days. And this isn't just like FOMC. It could be any news day that's as relevant as FOMC or even a little bit less relevant. I see people skipping out on trading completely because there is a news event or something is going on and they're like, I'm not trading this. And in my opinion, that's the wrong approach. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But I think the best way to approach a day like today is understand that, okay, yes, there is a good probability that we will be balanced. There's a good probability that there will not be any crazy moves, 100%, right? That's fine. Like, just understand what the session could potentially offer you and adapt and still show up and look for opportunities. Like today, for example, I made the mistake of walking away too early. This is literally in my plan. This setup right here, perfectly in my plan. It actually worked out for like 16 points, I believe. 15, 14, 15 points, which is a perfect trade for me on ES. So like totally missed out on that because I was like, you know what? We're so balanced, we're so choppy. I'm just done trading. And I'm not even saying that's the worst decision to make. Like if you're gonna walk away and take a day off because there's FOMC, like honestly, there's nothing too wrong with that. It's just like I don't really agree with people whenever they say, "Oh, I'm just not even gonna show up. I'm just gonna basically fuck off." And I just think that's the wrong approach. I think that there can be opportunities on these type of days. I've seen opportunities present themselves on days just like this where there might be FOMC, there might be something else going on, and people are like, I'm not trading this. And then you get a really clear opportunity. Like today, this was one of the best opportunities I saw in this whole week, if not the best opportunity that I saw on the week. Unfortunately, I missed it because I walked away myself. But whatever, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. I would love to hear your point of view on that as well. So I'm just going to walk you guys through the confirmations that I saw on this trade. I'm going to primarily use the footprint today. I don't have my book map up anymore. And honestly, the footprint chart confirmation looks really clean. And honestly, it's probably all you would need for this trade. I'm not going to lie. Clearly, like I said, my goal today was I want to get short from 420 to 433, or I want to look for short opportunities to get short starting from 420. So we came up to this level, and actually before we came up, these buyers were getting trapped, or we had some selling getting trapped down here that I didn't realize it was literally right as I walked away, sellers were getting trapped. I didn't want to take it. I didn't have a point of interest off. I didn't have a point of interest to align myself with. So I was just like, I'm not taking that. I can see it, but I didn't want to take it. I walked away. Shortly after, you get a nice little move up into this 420 level. But over here on the footprint chart, this is why I said it was so clean. So we rally. Is this the right time? So first of all, on the right side of the screen where I'm circling right here, you can see all this negative delta right here that failed to move price down. This happened before even right here. So like it's like this. So you had all this negative delta from sellers. We quickly bounced off of that, came up into this 420. And this is why I said it looks so clean on a footprint chart, because look, if you see, you have some trap buyers right here, 233 delta on 317 volume traded, 315 on 800. And following these trap, this is just where buyers are losing momentum, in my opinion, or that's how I view it. Buyers losing momentum right here. Get some selling step in a little bit. We come up here and we put a successful auction. Volume is dying out into a low volume area, and this is followed by some selling that steps in. Once again, some more buying gets trapped right up here, and you can just see the delta on the session. I'm blocking it. You can see the delta on the session right here to the right. So this was perfect confirmation, especially with this successful auction and then sellers stepping in. This is perfect confirmation to take this short, and plus it aligns with my plan, or it aligns with a great area of interest on the chart to get short as well. So this is like literally, I would call this possibly an A+ trade straight up. The only thing that is kind of holding me back is the fact that it might have taken a little bit longer to develop than one would like, specifically like looks like almost 30 minutes for this to really develop. Typically, I don't like to see trades take 30 minutes to develop, but that's besides the point. This still was something that happened. This was an opportunity that looked very nice to me. Came back to my computer, I saw this, and I was like, damn, that really played out perfectly. I saw some kids in my Discord took it. Shout out to you guys. Congratulations. That was a great trade. So yeah, perfect short entry confirmation right at the key level for the day. Couldn't ask for more of a better setup for today, if I'm going to be completely honest. If I was short right here, where would I want to target? So there's two things that I had in mind. I already had this marked out. The New York close from yesterday, that is roughly at 403, 403.50. This would be my first target for sure. I might have possibly wanted to target down to 398, but just being aware that there is this New York close in your way, this is a great place to either take the whole position off or at least scale out. But this would have been my first target. And then, like I said, I honestly, there's a chance that I would have wanted to target this 398, but 15 point trade, that's really all you can ask for on ES for a perfect scalp. That's all I would really want out of a trade anyway. I told you guys in my last video, or maybe 2 videos ago, that I did some analysis on my data and I realized that I'm kind of less interested in holding runners now, because whenever I do hold runners, it only increases my average winning trade by like literally 1 to 2 points. And I might be risking, let's say, half, or even whenever I hold half, it obviously goes up to a little more. I can usually average like 18, 19 if I'm holding half my position, but most of the time I will scale out 70% of my position. And whenever I look at my data, that leads to only like 1 to 2 points extra of what I would have got if I just closed the whole position out and basically got out in one exit. So I'm kind of at the point where for scalps, especially counter trend, I'm all out on 1 TP. Are you really wanting to risk 50 to 30% of your runners, of your position, to make an extra 1 to 2 points? To me, it doesn't really make sense. Everybody can do their own thing. I'm not saying it's completely wrong to hold runners by any means, but moral of the story is 15 points on a day like today is like all you can ask for, really. Like, definitely not reasonable to expect any sort of continuation moves to either side, given that we have FOMC later. So just understanding what the possibilities of the session are instead of just completely avoiding them due to news. That's the way I think is the better approach. You guys, once again, let me know how you feel about that. But hands down, this is the best setup of the day. No doubt about it. I'll let you guys see that footprint chart one more time. Illiquidity going into the low volume area, seller stepping in. On the way there, you got some nice delta showing that buyers are losing steam, or passive participants are a little bit more active up here, followed by that aggression from sellers that you wanted to see. I would really call this like an A to an A plus setup. I really don't see, there's so many reasons to take the trade. On top of that, it's at a point of interest. Like, there's really nothing much more that I would want to see personally to take an entry. So I'm kind of bummed out that I walked away earlier, but you know, it is what it is. There's going to be unlimited opportunities in our future, so it's not a big deal at all, but just something that definitely worked out very well today. Possibly even a long off these trapped sellers down here. That would have been lower quality in my opinion, but yeah, hands down best trade of the day, short at 420, no doubt about it. So to end this video off, what I'm going to speak about real quick is something that I have been kind of thinking about, kind of realizing the last few weeks, last week specifically, and that is that on any given day, there are going to be setups that appear that are not going to be the best setups to take. So like, just for an example, right? I mentioned how there's some selling that is getting trapped off the open or shortly after the open down here at these 407s, 405s, right? Personally, I don't have a level at 407 to 405, right? This may have been one of those setups you see that it makes sense, right? You see the delta building up, you see sellers getting trapped, followed by either selling drying up or buying stepping in. And that's one of those setups on the day that, yes, it fully is there, right? It presented itself. There's no doubt about that. But what I've been kind of realizing is that there's going to be setups just like that that happen throughout the day. And that doesn't mean they're going to be the best setups. Like, for example, in this one, 407, take it all the way up to 419. That's a 12-point trade. That's a great trade, right? If you got it at 407. Let's say you took it at 410, or yeah, let's say you took it at 410. You're only going to get 9, 10 points at best. The point I'm trying to make is that there's going to be setups that may present themselves that you might want to take that are completely valid, but they're not going to give you the return that you would get on a high quality setup like the short firm today. And this is something that I've kind of realized because I'm looking at my data, I'm looking at all the trades that I've taken in the last month, and there's definitely a handful of setups just like the one I just showed you where, yeah, it's fully valid. Like, you're seeing absorptions, but the thing is, you might be going against the higher time frame trend, you might be going against the 5-minute trend, and while there is definitely a potential to reverse, and this is what I've seen in my own data, I will get an entry that's really good, valid entry, but it only goes 5-6 points in my direction before reversing back. And all of these trades are counter trend. They are against my plan. I'm basically fading my plan. And it's just like something I've realized, like these things are going to pop up. There's going to be trades or there's going to be setups that appear, but just because there's a setup that's appearing doesn't mean it's going to be the setup that's going to give you 12, 15 points on ES. So one thing that I'm working on and one thing that I'm getting better at for sure is just being able to identify, all right, yes, I see that this is happening, right? I see that this is happening. I see that there's absorption, exhaustion, whatever it may be. But does it align with the higher time frame? Does it align with my plan? And if it doesn't, there's a good chance that it could just be a short-term, it could just lead to a short-term move that might only go 5, 6, 7 points before coming back to where it started. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that too. But this is something that I've just kind of gathered by, I forget who I saw, but basically someone's talking about, A, B, C rated setups and how there's going to be the lower quality setups. They actually appear more often, but they're not going to yield the same return as like an A plus setup or an A setup. It's like whenever you're new to trading or whenever you're new to order flow, you see these things and you're like, oh, I recognize this. You can see it setting up, you see what's happening, but the thing is, it's actually a setup that you want to avoid if it's not a part of your plan, if it doesn't have a key level backing it up to give it even more momentum. It's just one of those setups you want to say, all right, I see it, but I'm going to filter it out because technically it is not the highest probability or it does not have a high expectancy to run. So that's just some yap about something I have been keeping in mind lately. Let me know if you guys think about that stuff. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be the setup of the day video. If you guys haven't followed me yet, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you go hit that subscribe button. Obviously, like the video. Discord link is in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.